Finally, the new story expansion of Shattered Space is available now on Xbox and PC, launching us into the deep dark realms of the Great Serpent's death cult of House Varun, delivering the grittiest, most brutal, action-packed, handcrafted experience we've all been waiting for within Starfield, with over 50 handcrafted locations, craftable organic grenades made from the body parts of the fallen, exclusive new legendary weapons, spacesuits and gear, frightening new cosmic threats like the vortex horrors, creatures that slip through the barriers of reality, the redeemed, a melee-wielding cyborg faction within House Varun, and all of this unfolding while we're exploring some of the most visually striking new planets and biomes on Dazra, House Varun's hidden homeworld, featuring all kinds of weather and environmental anomalies. Will we get answers to the biggest question surrounding Starfield's most mysterious faction? Who or what is the Great Serpent? But before you dive into the epic journey of Shattered Space, whether you're a new or returning player, Starfield has introduced a plethora of new features and updates. Understanding these changes is absolutely mission critical to enhancing your gameplay and maximizing your enjoyment. But by far the most important, all these tips and tricks or insights will save you a ton of time and spare you from unnecessary frustrations. And for all the existing players, we're going to answer the most important question. The new update promised virtually unlimited mod potential, and we're going to test it. We're going to see if the mod soft cap has been released. There's going to be something here for everyone. Feel free to use the chapters where you need them. A huge thanks to Bethesda ANZ for sponsoring this video. Let's get into it. Starfield has been out for about a year, and within that period, we've seen a huge amount of performance enhancements, completely transforming the overall experience and performance within the game, particularly and most notably for Xbox users who have silky smooth 60 FPS now, along with fixing so many of the mission bugs. There's emphasis on many lighting enhances, quality of life changes, and for the PC players, heading into your display, scrolling down the bottom. Now, whether you have a NVIDIA, AMD, or Intel, all the various super resolutions will be available as long as you have a supported card. So Starfield should run and look better than ever, especially if you haven't picked it up since last year. So some of the disgruntled aspects to Starfield from last year have all been removed thanks to these amazing, flexible, dynamic game options. If you want the true hardcore experience, you just flick all this to the right. For those that like to suffer in pain. However, now we have complete control, whether we want to experience our ground combat in easy mode and then build some crazy ship and have all the space interactions garner much more reward and satisfaction by having extreme settings. And when it comes to some of the overall favorites, we can now increase carry capacity substantially. Then we can access our ship from anywhere and cash up all the vendors so we can go spend time looting and just offload it all to one vendor in one location. For the hardcore players, you can have the ammo weighted. Then we get into the survival mechanics that have been added where we can make healing items pitiful or very potent. Then we have things like the food, sleep, and substance where we can make it have much more presence, giving healing abilities or just removing it altogether. And with all these, we can either turn them off or on. And substance, we can have food have a positive or negative effect depending on how much you eat, what you eat, giving it a much more realistic sense to the overall food system within Starfield. Then when it comes to the afflictions, whether it be poisons, fractures, we can increase how brutal this experience is, as well as make the prognosis speed up, making these situations go from good to bad to terrible, meanwhile gathering up an extreme amount of XP quickly. Same sort of systems for your environmental afflictions, but you can mix it up and have the treatment for inflictions to normal, balancing out playing on some of the more advanced difficulties. But in summary, now we have so much control on how we want to experience Starfield. You don't want to get encumbered anymore? You flick the carry capacity. You want to access your storage on your ship because you built a space cargo ship? Well, now we can just flick the cargo distance anywhere. These settings will really help streamline and improve your experience within Starfield. Adjust accordingly. Some of the other key options you should consider changing will have the first, third, and ship field of view. So for example, first and third person at 110, this is what it'll look like in third person with this setting. Then same again, here it is in first person view at the opposite end of the scale. If we go to 70 for first and third, here it is in third person and here it is in first. So a huge difference. The excellent thing is we have the same for our ship third person view. For example, this is field of view at its lowest setting. And then here it is cranking it up to 110, which you can see allows us to observe so much more. So some nice changes. We can also do this with the Rev 8. Now, another cool thing that they've really changed and added functionality to is the photo mode, adding more poses, more customizations, and overall you'll have a nice experience being able to take some great, amazing shots of all the various planets and areas within Starfield. Another miracle setting that's been introduced is within the accessibility, where we can now control what the camera does with dialogue. So for instance, traditionally, whenever we talk to an NPC, we get a zoomed in close-up of that NPC. And here we just select the dialogue camera, flick it off. Then when we talk to NPCs, we do not get that zoomed in effect. And we can look around just like normal. They'll continue to speak and then the dialogue box will come up, keeping more of a traditional Bethesda feel and immersion when entering dialogue with NPCs. There's also the option to turn your vanity camera off. That's that camera mode when you're AFK for too long, the camera will start circling your character. Now you can have that off so that no longer happens. When it comes to the most important in-game changes, we now have the very detailed surface maps, even down to the last tree and little rocks are now included, as well as detailed layouts of all the major cities within Starfield, as well as showing all the various quick travel locations, which you can now quick travel to many of these different icons by simply opening your scanner and hitting your interact button or key. Then you can fast travel, which makes it much easier and nicer to get around. When it comes to some of the key changes for your ship and space experience, all ship mechanics now sell empty habs, because now we can make all our ships completely customized and decorated to whatever degree we want, basically adding the outpost functionality to your own ship, whether you want to decorate it to the finest degree or you just want the supreme functionality of adding workbenches wherever you want. That's all there now at our fingertips. Another thing at our fingertips is the ability to craft ammo, as long as you have your research in weaponry, where you will now find ammunition, which you're able to progress to ammunition 3, allowing you to head over to your industrial workbench and craft all the various different ammo types. There's also the addition of some rework to the melee system, adding 2 research category, blade and handle. Progressing these to level 2 allows for modifications to be made to the melee weapons, adding 1 component to your blade, having a various effects of increasing damage to making it lighter or increasing attack speed, or the handle, where you can increase attack speed and damage as well. Another big change is when you head to the Cheyenne system, to Aquila and then Aquila City, where you'll most definitely run into this lady who will pretty much appear on all planets' major cities, who will introduce you to a faction called the Tracker Alliance, who have their HQ in Aquila City just up the road, and where you will find the new faction quests and characters, as well as some of the new missions that you'll have to face. Then we have the almighty Rev 8 land vehicle, which if you haven't jumped into Starfield, you'll need to visit any ship technician. You'll see the option, I'd like to purchase a vehicle. After that, you just pay your 25,000 credits. Bang, bada, boom, it's yours. Now, there's a few good options for mods when it comes to your vehicle, noting that if you want to select them, you would come to your ship technician, come to this menu, you press the equivalent next button, which will then select the other vehicles, which you can set to active. However, the Rev 8 will always be available. And the crazy cool thing about the Rev 8 is you can use your scanner while driving around, being able to scan all the various vegetations. And not only that, you have a weapon that has a dual purpose of mining ore or materials simply by firing at them. Then in combat scenarios, you can hold in the zoom button, and depending on your perks, time will slow down, allowing you to zone in, focus and fire, dealing a reasonable amount of damage, truly making it the greatest all-terrain vehicle for managing all the various scenarios. Not to mention, it comes with a boost pack, allowing you to conquer pretty much any terrain. Now, in my opinion, the 2 most important updates we've seen over the last year is the introduction of creations, as well as the removal of the mod limit. Let's take a look at these now. The creations, which you'll find located in your main menu, which upon clicking, it opens the Pandora's box, a galaxy of mods, and just with a couple clicks, you can completely transform your experience with a huge range of mods which you can purchase. But even better, there are thousands of free amazing mods. And with over 5,695 mods, you're going to find something that you like. In fact, you'll probably find hundreds of mods that you like. And I'll explain how you can download all of them within just 1 click using some of the key critical functionality within the creations menu, but we'll come back to that. Now, some key things to understand with the creations. When searching on creations, it's really important to note 2 characters will not yield any kind of result. You will need to put in at least 3 characters, but the best way to use the search, as it still needs some improvements, is to try focus on 1 full word related to the mod that you're trying to find. And if that doesn't work, try hone it in or change the keyword because sometimes it is a little bit temperamental. The other important thing is you can sort your results in all the usual kind of assortments. There's also a category list. So if you want to hone in and check out, say for gameplay, you'll have the option here just to come in, click gameplay, and it's going to return some, but not all of the gameplay mods. So keep in mind, there are so many mods, it won't load all of them up at the same time. So you will have to do a little bit of searching if you're trying to hone in. But lucky for you, I've created tons and tons of videos of reviewing so many of these mods. So if you ever get stuck or want to find some cool mods, definitely check those videos out. I'll put some links in the description. What I highly recommend if you're looking for mods for Starfield is to go to the official Bethesda website. Here we can go all, then we can go new, and then daily, and this will bring you the latest drops of all the various mods. The other thing you can do with creations is you can log in and start building a list of mods that you'd like, and then in turn you can come back into creations and come to the options, and here we'll have a range of different highly functional options to choose from, where if we've built a library using our Bethesda account that's linked to Starfield, we can then go download all creations in my library, and it's going to go automatically fetch all those mods you've curated, download them, install them. Then you can also just go enable all or disable them depending on your needs, as well as delete and update all. Now what you'll need to do is make sure you've linked your Xbox or Steam account to your Bethesda account. When we go into the mod that we'd like to download, you'll notice the button here, the subscribe button or the add to library. This is a button that has a direct link to that functionality. Download all creations in my library. This is simply the method of doing it. Also note that the bookmark functionality that I just described using Bethesda's official website is the exact same principle and system that you can use within creation, where when viewing a mod, you'll have the bookmark option. You'll be able to click that and add it to your list. So you can do all the same things through creations. And if you want to view that list within creations, we can go category list, and you'll note here we have the bookmarked. So these are all the ones that we flagged or subscribed to. There's also within the category list, my library. This will show you all the mods you have in your load order, whether they're active or inactive. However, note for PC players, obviously it's not going to reflect the mods downloaded externally. When it comes to disabling missing creations, check on load. So this option here, you can disable it or enable it. Currently, I have it disabled. However, if you enable it, this option will prevent the game for checking missing creations when you're loading into a save. So for instance, I have it disabled. So right now it will check all my mods when I load into an old save. So if I go into load, we're going to load one from July. Now I know I have a huge amount of different mods in this save. So when I go to reload it, we're going to trigger this pop-up menu where we have an option to attempt to download missing creations that have retained references to the mods that were active and to any changes these mods made, like new items, NPCs, quests, or environmental changes. This means that if you load a save from a point in time when specific mods were installed, the game will expect those mods to be present, hence why we get this pop-up. But do note, the save file doesn't keep a snapshot of the mods that were installed, not the save file itself anyway. So if you manually remove or disable mods and load a previous save, the game won't automatically restore the mods that were active at the time of the save. It will simply load the current state of the installed mods onto your system. And with this menu, we do have the ability to try download all the mods that it's detected that has made changes. Now, after it downloads the creations it can detect, you will get all creations downloaded. So we'll click OK. After clicking OK, it's going to do some bit more loading in the background. Now, in this instance, it's detected some more mods that are still missing. These are more likely than not ones that have been on my mod manager that are currently not enabled. So it's going to be slightly different. So it's not going to be able to pick these up. You hit yes to do in download now. You'll probably end up right back at this screen. However, for all the PC and Xbox users that are purely just using creations, this will be a much more smoother experience, and you probably won't have to worry about this extra pop-up. You'll probably end up at the next screen, perhaps this one, where it will say creations you have already downloaded are there, but aren't actually active. So we do want to activate them now, so we'll just hit yes. And here we get to the important screen, and I'll just run you through what this screen means, because it's rather important. Here we'll have two different options. We have to keep in mind that to get to this screen, we've gone to an old save. We've tried to download all the associated mods that the game could recognize. And now it's trying to give us an option, because here we have two different load order potentials. We have the current load order, which will include all the mods that we had installed previous to trying to load this old save. And we would select current, pretty much circumventing the process that we just went through of downloading the mods associated to this save. So we will go and disable all the mods we just downloaded if we select current and throw us in there with all the mods that we had active previously. However, if we click save, that's going to continue along the process that we've been following of trying to load into this save using all the mods that were detected that we just previously downloaded. So in this particular instance, we'll click save. Okay, and I have loaded into a save from yonks ago when I was checking out some of the new hubs available. Pretty much when Creation Club first came out. However, now if we go into creations, I can see here tons and tons of mods that were active at the time of this load that I certainly did not have on because I did not have barely any of these Star Wars mods on at all. But you can see here that it's automatically detected some of the mods. It's been able to install and enable them, preserving a lot of the functionality within the save. Because as mentioned, if we choose the option where we go current mod order, we do run the risk of stuffing up or not being able to load into that save because it might require some of the mods that it didn't pick up. But in most cases, you're going to be fine. This process is smooth. Now with going down that massive rabbit hole, we come back to what this option was. Disable missing creations check on load. If we click enable, it is currently actually disabled. So now if we go in and try load a different older save, it's just going to try go straight in without doing any of those checks. So let's try that again. We're going to go load, then we're going to go down and just pick a random one. Here we go. We will still get the pop-up saying the following content is not present. However, it's not going to ask us to download them. So we'll either just say yes to continue loading this save, ignoring this save and all the mods that were previously installed with it. Or if we go no, it's not going to load that save. So that's what that functionality is. Extremely handy. I recommend going back into your options and always having it on disable missing creation check on load, which actually means it is enabled. With all that said, that actually gives you quite a good understanding of how this system currently works, which leads us to the second most important update, in my opinion, that Starfield will ever see, and that is the removal of the mod limits. Now we can have virtually unlimited amount of mods installed all at once. I've got over 350 ESM files installed, and we're going to load into a baseline save into the lodge. And here we are, we're loading in and we have so many mods installed. I don't even think it'd be possible to get this far without the game just breaking. But here we're going to just have tons and tons of pop-ups everywhere because we have so many different mods on at the same time. So this is phenomenal. The mod cap has been removed and now we can get up to over 4,000 mods all installed at once. Now, what is remarkable, if we go into creations, be able to see not all of them are turned on because some of them had dependencies that I hadn't flicked on. But if we go start scrolling down, you get an idea. There is so many different mods installed. I won't get down to all of them, but you just get the idea. We have a ton. I checked in the file. I have over 350 ESMs in the mod file, but this in itself is remarkable. Having virtually unlimited mods in Starfield will make it unlike any other Bethesda game in the years to come. And with all that, thank you so much for watching. The future is bright for Starfield. Over time, what will be built and created and made will be mind-blowing. Catch you next time.